Welcome to the RV Rental Secrets podcast. I'm your host, Stacy Maxson, and I'm thrilled to guide you through the journey of launching, growing, and managing a profitable RV rental business.
Welcome back to another episode of RV Rental Secrets podcast. I'm here with my partner, Stacy, and today we are going to talk about customer experience, customer reviews. Stacy, how you doing?
Good. This is a hot topic of mine. I feel like customer service is something I strive to excel at. So I'm excited for this talk today.
You know, Stacy, you are amazing at customer service and you do have that spirit of excellence. My wife, Tina, when we first met, she was a customer service manager. I don't know if you know that about her. She was a customer service manager at a bank. And she literally had a position that required a bachelor's degree. And she had no college degree, but she had such a spirit of excellence and such a work ethic that she was in the position that required a college degree. That kind of choked me up a little bit. I am so in love with my wife. She's so amazing. I was reading Proverbs 31 this morning. It talks about the virtuous woman. So I've been thinking about my wife all morning. So, okay. Anyway, customer reviews, customer experiences. So Stacy, go ahead and share a couple thoughts.
Yeah, well, I mean, you mentioned, your wife working in a bank, and maybe that's where it's come from, because when I started working, I was always in a retail environment. So I was always working directly with the customer. I kind of got my training from retail experience. So that's probably why it's always been at the forefront of my mind. And I'm not going to lie, customers can be challenging in the RV rental industry. But you kind of have to look at it from their point of view is, they're on vacation. They wanted to get away from all the stress. And when something goes wrong on their rental, it's really hard for them because they wanted to get away from all that. And they just wanted a nice, relaxing experience. So I'd say, first and foremost, put yourself in their shoes. How would you feel if you were on your vacation and something like that happened to you? So make sure that you're listening to the customer, acknowledging what their issues are, and then try to help them. I think one of the first things that you can do is just reply to all their messages, make sure that you're responding quickly. That's part of the listening aspect. They want to make sure that they're being heard.
Yeah, I totally agree. And that's a really good point as far as first acknowledging their frustration, which a lot of times we immediately go to the defensive, if we acknowledge this, then they're going to start asking for a big refund, or we're going to go down this long trail. And it doesn't have to be like that. Like Stacy said, put yourself in their shoes, acknowledge, that there's an issue. And two, in your defense, RV owner, RV rental operator, or an owner that's listening to this, RVs aren't built for heavy use. And most of the renters don't understand, that RVs break, that there's smells, that there's all these things. It reminds me of we have a blog post called The Smells of Camping. It's not all s'mores in the great outdoors. And we wrote that in 2017, but I still remember it and it still goes out as one of our emails, because we get so many people that would reach out oh my gosh, just, it smells like poop in here. This is horrible. What's going on? And then you have to educate them. Well, make sure the kids aren't just standing there with their foot on the pedal, letting the smells in, and make sure this and that. If you're driving an RV, make sure you have a little water sitting in the bowl, to create that barrier and all the, and so a lot of it is education. But yeah, so let me shift gears a little bit. I want to talk about, before I shift gears, Stacy, anything else you want to talk about that?
Well, you mentioned education. So I think that's, a good part of setting the customer expectation. When you're doing that delivery and the walkthrough, educating them on how the RV works and what they can expect, or maybe even before they rent, so they know whether RVing is going to be right for them or not, because it's not for everyone. And you want to make sure you're setting that expectation so they don't have a high expectation and you're not ever going to be able to meet that because the camper is just not capable of that experience.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And you can even present that information kind of in a funny manner, So you interview the customer and see if they've ever camped. If they have experience camping, then, chances are it's going to be a lot easier of a customer. But if they haven't, especially during COVID, man, we had so many people that rented RVs during COVID that had never camped. Like they were people that were used to pretty nice vacations, traveling overseas, going on cruises, stuff like that, that now they're kind of RVing was their option. And they had this expectation based on previous vacations that was very hard to meet. I mean, I remember we had renters simply show up, walk through the RV and say, yeah, I'm not doing this. This thing is like shaking while I'm standing in it. This is so small. This is all the things, and so, yeah, setting those expectations, and you can do it in a joking manner, as far as, hey, now, when the kids are, running around, the camper's gonna shake a little bit. But I'm sure you already know that. You can say it in like an assumptive manner because people like to be right, so they're gonna reply, oh, yeah, I already knew that. Yeah, that's not a problem. Or, these things aren't always 100% level, based on your campsite and stuff. Oh, yeah, that's no problem. We won't even be in the camper that much anyway, which is a funny thing, right? Most of the times you're not even in the camper unless it's raining or you're sleeping. So things like that, just little things you can do to build a rapport, set an expectation, and set the stage.
Yeah, so I know you said you were going to switch gears a little bit. I'm curious, where were you going with that?
Yeah, I want to talk about customer reviews. So customer reviews is something that's a passion of mine and has been for years and years and years. I can think back to my credit counseling company where literally I would get reviews from customers before I've even done anything for them. Like that was a huge my Google Maps listings that was where I got a lot of my business. People would Google the term, I would show up in the Google Maps because, cool thing about Google Maps is it's right below the sponsored ads typically. So you Google RV rentals, my area. And then what do you see? You see RV Share, Outdoorsy, RVs, one of the major platforms. And then right below that typically is your Google Maps listing. So if you've got a Google Maps listing that has 30, 40, 50, 100 5-star reviews, that's actually more prominent than the sponsored ad because it's got the stars next to it. It's a different color. I want to just Google this real quick. It's got the stars next to it, the yellow gold stars. It's got the circle with the link to the website. It's got the hours of operation. It's got the map above it. So really that's a phenomenal piece of real estate to own on Google. And so if you're thinking like, hey, you need a Google review for every customer. And literally, like I said, with my credit counseling company, people would come in, get a free consultation, I get a review. People would come in, sign up for the services, I get a review. No matter where they're at in the process, I was always asking for reviews because really it's such a simple way. Like I just looked here in my area, RV rentals, and company here that has 83 reviews, which honestly isn't a ton of reviews. I mean, think about the amount of customers that you service. If you're intentional about getting reviews, and as well too, when you're thinking about customer reviews and building an online presence, if you got a dealership that the rep that you work with there, hey, would you leave me a review and I'll leave you a review? Make it a reciprocal kind of thing. Or where you go to get the propane filled or where you go to buy supplies or the campgrounds you work at. Hey, I want to leave a review. Do that first. Go onto their campground website, Google Maps, leave them a review. And then when you're there doing a delivery, oh, hey, I forgot to show you this. I went on the other day and left you guys a 5-star review and, mentioned these A, B, and C amenities. You got a minute to just go ahead and leave me a review real quick. If you don't know how to do it, I'll show you. Pull out your phone real quick, type in this and walk them through, like literally have them do it while you're right there standing with them.
Yeah, I think that's key is not being afraid to ask for the review. We just met with our marketing person the other day and he was asking for our feedback. And he said a lot of people don't do that because they're afraid to hear what the renter or whoever is going to come back with. So you have to just kind of take that leap of faith, ask for the review. Maybe they do leave some constructive criticism, but you have to take that so that you can better your business. So yeah, definitely ask. And I love the point of doing the Google reviews. If you're renting Outdoorsy and RV Share, they automatically send that blurb to the renter and ask for a review on those profiles. But if most likely when someone's searching for an RV rental, they're going to be doing it on Google. So, getting those reviews on Google is going to make you show up better in the search results. which is going to help people find you locally, which is ultimately what you want.
Yeah, exactly. And two, once you get a listing with a decent amount of reviews on it, you can also, forget the term for it now, because we honestly haven't done it in a while. You can like boost your Google Maps listing. I don't think that's the name of it. I think that's a Facebook term, but you can sponsor it or something. I forget, but so that's another option that you have, because yeah, at the end of the day, you don't want to be messing around with Google paid ads to show up on the top. You know, they call it above the fold to show up there. You don't want to do that, because RV Share and these other guys, they're literally dropping millions of dollars, millions and millions of dollars, you know, in paid advertising. So customer reviews, it's always better for somebody else to promote you than you to promote yourself. So customer reviews, and then another great one too is your Facebook page. You want to talk about Facebook a little bit, Stacy?
So what do you want to talk about there?
So yeah, with Facebook pages, it's just another great way to build a presence, to build online reviews. And I think more importantly is to get your customer to engage with you, because as you know, especially my folks out there that you just have one RV, you're renting it out and you're just trying to find the best way to do things. You know, you don't have a CRM like us and a marketing team and all those different things. You simply having a Facebook page for your RV or the name of your LLC or however you brand yourself, getting your customers to engage with that page, which could just be as simple as just to start, hey, like and follow our page. Then what you're doing now is you're building your database. So all your previous renters, you can communicate with them easily. And then obviously customer reviews, then you can go in and get them to leave a review as well.
Yeah. And, talking about engagement, I think too, if someone does leave a review for you, it's really important to reply back to that review and thank them. You can give feedback on specific items that they may have really loved or disliked, and tell them how you're going to improve that in the future. And I always like to follow it up with hope to see you again next year and invite them back. So I think they're taking time out of their day to leave the review. So you always want to take time out of your day to make sure that they're getting appreciated for leaving that review and thanking them for that.
Exactly. Yeah. And also on that note, you can incentivize. I remember I used to have a email template that would go out, and it had our Google Maps, our Facebook, our LinkedIn, and then my Zillow profile. When I was doing the credit counseling, my niche was creating homeowners, helping people get credit ready for homes. So if they went on and did all four of the links, I would send them a $50 gift card. So add a little bit of gamification to it, complete these four and I'll send you. And then the links came in a hyperlinked in the email for them. So you have to make it as easy as possible for them to just simply click and do. And then, yeah, follow up with them. Don't be afraid to follow up. And if you find that the engagement isn't that high, well, then maybe you need to increase your incentive. It could be, all right, I'm starting a giveaway here I'm going to do at the end of next month. And everybody that leaves a review, every time you leave one on one of these links, I'm going to enter your name. And I'm going to be giving away a discount on a rental next year, or a s'mores kit, or, whatever you could do to incentivize and make that fun.
Yeah, definitely. With customer reviews and having that great customer service, it gets them coming back every year. Not only are you getting new customers from people seeing your good reviews, but your current customers are coming back because you are thanking them for their feedback and giving them that validation that, yeah, you did make the right decision with coming to us. We'll see you again next year. And, that's worked for us. We've had customers coming back for like the last 5 years because of that customer service and, the good reviews that we've had. So I think that's really important to strive for in your business.
Yeah, exactly. And so Stacy, again, me and my multitasking, I'm just messaging with Zach, franchise of ours in North Carolina. And I was following up on a management lead I sent him, and the lady says she's holding off. And he literally said, this is funny how this works. He literally just messaged, she mentioned seeing negative reviews about the company. She was going to hold off on our service. And he said, she mentioned, because he said to me, well, she's holding off. And I said, okay, why is she holding off? I was trying to coach him through that. Right. We talk about that in another episode, mentors and coaching. So it's like, okay, let's find the objection here. Usually it's fear of somebody sleeping in the bed of my camper. He said she mentioned finding negative reviews about the company. I asked if she could share some feedback for training. So great job for that, for Zach for saying that. Hadn't received a response yet. So I'm responding to Zach. I'm sending him a link to our Outdoorsy Pro profile. We've got almost 200 reviews on here with 4.6 stars, which I'm very proud of that. With hundreds and hundreds of RVs under management and thousands of bookings per season, 4.6 is a pretty good rating, because you're going to have those customers. You're just going to have those customers that aren't happy no matter what.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's important to ask for the review for those customers that did have a good experience, because the ones that don't have an ideal experience, they're always the ones to leave the review. They love to shout out when they're not having a good experience. So, getting those people that had a great experience to kind of circumvent that and to help with your rating. It's always the people that have a negative experience that are going to be the ones to leave the bad review, unfortunately.
Yeah, you really do have to chase down the happy renters to get the reviews, especially post booking. That's why I'm such a fan of like getting a review. Heck, even while you're on there and you just help them finalize the booking, staying right on with them. Hey, all right, great. One more thing I need you to do real quick. I'm really just trying to share the joy of camping and just how easy it is and everything. And how we just were able to get you all set up with this camper. I'm texting you a link right now. Click on that link for me. Let me know when you're on there. Okay, perfect. You're on that link. Okay, great. If you could, this is my Google Maps listing. Would you feel comfortable giving a 5-star review based on, the conversation we just had? And then you wait for them to respond. And this is where you feel uncomfortable in these moments, but it's uncomfortable to you because you're asking something from somebody. But the person on the other end of it, it's actually not as uncomfortable for them, because we love giving. We love helping people. Like, it's in our nature to want to help, and that's a rewarding feeling that we get from helping. And they're going to say, "Oh yeah, no problem. I'll happily leave a 5-star review." Heck, I've had people that say, "Yeah, what do you want me to say? Just tell me what you want me to say." And you know what I do when they say that? I say, "Oh, perfect." And I type out what I want them to say and I text it to them, or I tell them over the phone and they type it in. "Yeah, I just booked my camper with Fireside. It was an easy experience. I can't wait to get away with my family and create some memories." So it's really just, it's something you haven't done before. So it seems awkward, it seems weird, but it's not. People will gladly do it. It's just you getting in the habit as far as making that part of your process when you're, taking on a booking or interacting with a customer.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to challenge everyone that's listening today, to go sign into your platform, reach out to all your customers and ask for that review, and then go into your reviews, and all the reviews that you currently have, make sure you're leaving feedback on all of those. It's not too late to start. Could be a customer from a year ago, but go ahead and ask for that review now.
Stacey, I love how you said about that. I'm going to challenge you. Like, that's all the hype right now in a lot of the marketing and entrepreneurial world is challenges, right? Like 3-day water cleanse challenge, 7-day push-up challenge, 21-day read your Bible challenge, like challenge. And people love that because it's like there's competition that's involved. You get to put up on the board that you did your thing. And so literally use that as your motivation to reach out to these renters and say, "Hey, I'm actually part of this RV rental community, and we're actually doing a challenge right now. And the challenge is to get as many reviews as we can. Would you feel okay helping me win this challenge?" And guess what? Like we just said, how people love to help, and they call it the law of reciprocity. You've offered them a service, they were happy with the service, but you didn't ask for the review yet. If you were to ask for the review, the law of reciprocity says that they would feel obligated automatically on their end to do it. It's just most of the times people are lazy or too busy to do it. So if you're on there with them and saying, "Okay, great, do it, reply back as soon as you do it so I can add that onto my tally." And you can even make it funny, like, "Hey, if I don't hear from you in 5 minutes, it's done. I'm going to message you back because I really want to win this challenge." Like, it's okay to do that. It's okay to put a little bit of pressure on people, and it's okay to put a little bit of pressure on yourself. Like, get out of your comfort zone a little bit, ask the customer for the review, because guess the result of that is stronger presence, easier time getting bookings, like you want more bookings, right? So instead of us sitting here complaining about, which is a common thing, man, RV share, they're not getting me as many bookings as last year and their fees, and I'm so sick of it, blah, 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 blah. Well, then do something about it. Build your brand, build your reviews, but and ask for those. And then after you get that review from that renter, guess what? You've got them, you're communicating with them. Hey, and by the way, I noticed you booked July 1st to the 7th. I actually have those dates open for next year. Tell you what, go ahead and book right now, and I'm gonna throw in a couple of free add-ons. I'm a big person on adding value instead of decreasing price. I know a lot of people like, yeah, book now and I'll give you a 10% discount. No, say book now and I'm gonna throw in some chairs and a s'mores kit. Because the chairs you already own. It's not costing you anything to add those in. Sorry, I went off on a little rant there, Stacy. I got really passionate for a minute.
No, I love it. And I think too, like you had mentioned about, the reviews, we had talked about Google. That's a great way to get direct bookings rather than going through the platforms. So that's where you're advertising, the link to your website. So that can be a great way to get those direct bookings, which is going to get more money in your pocket too.
Exactly. So
yeah, well, I think, to be on brands with this podcast episode is we're going to ask all of our listeners to leave a review for us for the podcast. Tell us what you're loving about it. What do you want to hear about next? And you can leave that review anywhere you're listening on the podcast, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, just leave that review for us. We'd love to see it.
Stacy, that's a great idea. I like how you think. How about we incentivize it too? I mean, we just talked about incentivizing it. About when we come on the podcast next week, we'll look at reviews over the last week. We'll randomly pick a winner, and what will we give them?
How about we give them our fire starter course? So it's a course that'll teach you about renting out your RV.
Okay, so we'll give you a free copy of our fire starter course. And we've sold that anywhere from $1,000 to $500 to, I think we ran a $299 promotion once. So yeah, that's a complete course that is all about renting your RV, all the things, add-ons. It's got checklists, it's got videos, it's got a whole bunch of stuff in it.
Yeah, so next week we'll pick our winner and go ahead and leave that review, and hopefully we'll be shouting out your name next week. So thank you so much for joining us this week, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right, we'll see y'all.